What is up? I'm BreeKay with Airbit, and in this video, I'm going to talk about how to master a track in Any DAW. If you saw our video how to prep before mastering a track in Any DAW, then you already have your reference tracks with notes, your metering plugins, and your headroom ready to go. What I didn't mention in the last video that you're going to want to do first is pull down the volume of your reference tracks to be at a comparable volume to the track that you're working on. Otherwise, the volumes are not going to be a fair comparison. Now, a little disclaimer, each song is different and will need different things, so you are going to have to make your own judgment call on that. But I am going to walk you through some of the more common tools used to master. Your song might not need these plugins, or it might need more than these plugins, or it might need these plugins in a different order than I'm going to present them. You will have to listen and make your own decision on that. Now, let's get into building your mastering chain. The first thing that you want to start with is EQ. When listening back and forth between your track and your reference tracks, how does your mix sound? Do your reference tracks sound brighter than your song? Maybe give a little boost in the high middle frequency region. Does your song sound muddy in comparison to your reference tracks? Maybe give a little cut in the low middle frequency region. Does your song sound like it could use more air? Maybe create a high frequency shelf and raise those frequencies slightly. Whatever your song calls for, make sure that whatever boost or cut that you do is subtle. I would suggest no more than 1.5 dB and widening your cue to make it even more subtle. When mastering, a little really does go a long way. The next plugin you want to use is a compressor. Using the right compressor settings can definitely make or break your mix. I would say don't be afraid to try out your compressor's presets and see if one of them gets you closer to your reference tracks, and then adjust your settings from there. I would suggest listening to the dynamics of your reference tracks, like do the kick, the snare, the instruments, the vocals all sound more smashed together volume-wise, or do they sound more dynamic? Then adjust your compressor settings accordingly. If you do not understand how compressor settings work, go ahead and look that up. You can look up compression explained and plenty of tutorials will come up. The next plugin you want to use is saturation. If your mix needs that warmth and fullness of a commercial track, a good saturation setting can do just that. And if your mix doesn't need that, then feel free to go ahead and skip that. The next plugin that you want to use is a limiter, but first we need to talk about the loudness wars. There is no singular standard for how loud a song should be, but to compete at a commercial level, around -10 dB is like kind of a sweet spot. But it is entirely up to you and your taste whether you want a song that is louder or a song that is more dynamic. Spotify tends to level out the volume of each track on the platform to make them all more uniform, so if you're uploading there, it doesn't really matter anyway. Every platform, however, does not do this, so it is entirely up to you whether you want a louder track or not. Either way, a limiter will help give your song more volume. So remember those metering plugins we had you prepare in the last video? You can use your loudness meter, often also called a VU meter, alongside your limiter. With your limiter, you can set your ceiling, which I recommend around -0.5 dB. Then watch your loudness meter and lower the threshold on your limiter until on your meter you see your song averaging around the volume that you want it to be. The next thing you want to do is check your metering plugins. Check your stereo analyzer to make sure that your mix is filling out the left and right sides the way that you want it to. You can also check your other metering plugins, but make sure that you are mastering with your ears and not with your eyes. Just use your metering plugins to verify what it is that you're hearing. Some of the last things that I would suggest are giving your ears a break and then coming back to your master and making sure that it still sounds good. I would also suggest that you listen to your master on at least 5 different speakers and/or headphones and make notes of how it sounds so that you can come back and make any necessary adjustments. And that is pretty much it for this video. We post new videos here every week to help you along your music production journey, so make sure that you go ahead and click that subscribe button and also go ahead and hit that notification bell so that you do not miss a single video from us. Again, I am BreeKay with Airbit. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.